there's a sound a broken heart makes at midnight. And no one ever talks about it. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's the silence after reading old messages again. It's staring at the ceiling, pretending you're okay while your soul quietly falls apart inside your chest. My love, tonight I want you to hear the truth hidden behind that silence, because sometimes, the strongest people are the ones crying, where nobody can see them. Sometimes love leaves, but its memories stay awake long after the world falls asleep, and maybe, somewhere tonight, you're holding your phone, hoping their name appears one more time, hoping the person who broke your heart suddenly remembers how deeply you loved them. I know that feeling, the midnight ache, the empty side of the bed, the conversations you replay in your mind like a song that refuses to end. But listen to me carefully, my love. A broken heart is not the end of your story, it's proof that you loved with everything you had. And in a world full of temporary feelings, that kind of love is rare. So tonight, if your heart is hurting, if your soul feels tired, stay with me until the end of this message, because this is what a broken heart sounds like at midnight. My love. Midnight is a strange place for a broken heart. The world becomes quiet, but your mind does not. The streets fall asleep, the lights grow dim, and somewhere outside your window, life continues as if nothing ever happened. But inside your chest, everything still hurts exactly the same. And that is the cruel thing about heartbreak. The world moves on before you do. People think pain is loud. They think heartbreak looks like screaming, crying, begging someone to stay. But real heartbreak, the kind that changes you forever, is usually silent. It sounds like deep breaths in a dark room. It sounds like staring at your phone at 2:13 in the morning, hoping for a message you know will never come. It sounds like replaying old conversations in your head while pretending you no longer care. My love, this is what a broken heart sounds like at midnight. It sounds like memories, walking barefoot through your soul. You remember little things you thought you forgot, the way they laughed when they were truly happy, the way their voice softened when they said your name. The random moments that meant nothing back then, but suddenly mean everything now, and somehow, the nights become museums of peel we can no longer touch. You lie there asking yourself impossible questions. Did they ever really love me? Do they miss me too? Was I not enough? Why is it so easy for them to leave while I'm still drowning in what we used to be? And maybe the saddest part is this. You still speak kindly about the person who broke you. Because love doesn't disappear overnight. Even after goodbye, your heart still protects their memory. Even after they leave, a part of you still waits for their return. That's what nobody tells you about heartbreak. Sometimes the person who hurt you is still the person your soul searches for in every quiet moment. Midnight exposes that truth. During the day, you can pretend. You can smile around people. You can distract yourself with noise, work, conversations, music, endless scrolling, meaningless routines, but midnight removes distractions. And suddenly, it's just you. And the ache, you start hearing emotions you ignored during the day, the disappointment, the longing, the loneliness, the grief, because heartbreak is grief, my love. You grieve someone who is still alive, someone who still exists somewhere in this world, just no longer beside you. And that kind of pain is difficult to explain. You miss someone who still laughs somewhere, still wakes up every morning, still listens to music, still breathes, under the same moon you stare at every night. Yet somehow, they became unreachable. That realization can destroy a person slowly, especially when you gave them everything, especially when your love was genuine. People romanticize love all the time. They write poems about falling in love, songs about passion, movies about forever. But nobody prepares you for the silence after love leaves. Nobody talks about the nights where you hold your chest because the pain feels physical. Nobody talks about how exhausting it is pretending you're healing when you still break apart every time their memory crosses your mind, my love. There are nights when heartbreak makes even breathing feel heavy. And still, you survive them. That's the beautiful thing about you. Even with all this pain inside you, your heart continues beating. Even after disappointment, you still love deeply. Even after betrayal, you still care. Even after being abandoned, you still hope. Do you understand how rare that is? This world is full of people who stopped feeling because they were hurt once. People who became cold after heartbreak. People who turned their pain into cruelty. But you You remained soft, broken, perhaps tired, maybe. But still capable of love, and that matters more than you realize. Midnight often convinces us we are alone, but somewhere out there, another soul is awake right now feeling exactly what you feel. Someone else is staring at old photos, someone else is rereading messages they promised themselves as though they deleted emotionally. Someone else is whispering, "I miss you," into an empty room. Heartbreak connects strangers in invisible ways, because pain speaks a language every human eventually understands. And maybe tonight, your heart feels shattered because you loved honestly, not strategically, not selfishly, not halfway. You loved with sincerity. You gave your time, your attention, your loyalty, your softness. You stayed when things became difficult. You fought for someone you truly believed in. There is no shame in that. Please remember this, my love. Being abandoned does not make you unlovable. Sometimes people leave because they are confused. Sometimes they leave because they are afraid. Sometimes they leave because they do not know how to receive the kind of love you offered. And sometimes people simply lose themselves. But none of that changes your worth. A broken heart has a dangerous habit of turning pain into self-hatred. You start blaming yourself for everything. Maybe I cared too much. Maybe I texted too fast. Maybe I was too emotional. Maybe I was too available. Maybe I loved harder than they deserved. But loving deeply is not weakness. The right person will never punish you for having a genuine heart. The right person will never make you feel guilty for caring. And I know, right now those words might feel impossible to believe, because heartbreak changes your reflection. It makes beautiful souls question themselves. It steals sleep from kind people. It creates storms inside gentle hearts. And midnight becomes dangerous because silence gives sadness a voice. That's when the memories return stronger. You remember promises they made while holding your hand. Promises spoken softly, during late-night conversations. Promises you believed because your heart had no reason to doubt them, and now those promises echo inside you like ghosts. My love. Some nights heartbreak sounds like unfinished conversations. The words you never got to say, the closure you never received, the apology you deserved but never heard. You replay arguments in your mind, imagining different endings. What if I stayed calmer? What if I explained myself better? What if I loved differently? What if I fought harder? But love should not require you to destroy yourself just to be chosen. Real love does not leave you begging for basic affection. Real love does not make you question your value every night. Real love feels safe, and maybe that is what hurts the most. You thought you were safe with them. You trusted them with parts of yourself you hide from the rest of the world. You let them see your fears, your insecurities, your fragile places. And now those same vulnerable places ache whenever midnight arrives. I know there are nights you wish you could erase them completely. Erase their voice, erase their touch. Erase the memories. Erase the emotional fingerprints they left on your soul. But if you erased every painful memory, you would also erase the version of yourself that loved fearlessly. And despite everything, that version of you deserves to exist, because loving deeply is still beautiful, even when it ends painfully. A heart that can love sincerely is never a failure. Please don't let heartbreak convince you to become someone colder. This world already has enough emotionally unavailable people. Enough people pretending they don't care. Enough people afraid of vulnerability. Do not lose your softness because someone mishandled it. Midnight can also become a mirror. It forces you to face truths you avoided during the relationship. Maybe you ignored red flags because you were afraid to lose them. Maybe you accepted less than you deserved, because loneliness scared you more than disappointment. Maybe you kept pouring love into someone who stopped pouring back. That happens when your heart is pure. You keep believing people will love you the way you love them. But not everyone knows how to love gently. Some people only know how to receive, some only know how to leave. And still, your heart keeps searching for meaning in the ruins they left behind. You wonder if they think about you before sleeping. You wonder if they miss your voice during difficult days. You wonder if they ever realized how deeply you loved them. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But midnight teaches an important lesson eventually. Closure does not always come from another person. Sometimes closure comes from exhaustion. you simply become tired of carrying pain that no longer changes anything, and one night, instead of crying, you just sit quietly, not because you stopped caring, but because your soul finally understands that love cannot survive alone. That realization hurts, but it also begins healing, slowly, very slowly. Midnight changes, the silence no longer feels like punishment. The memories stop cutting as deeply. You still remember them, but your heart no longer bleeds every time you do. Healing is strange. Like that, it doesn't happen dramatically. One day you simply notice that their absence no longer controls every thought, you laugh genuinely again, you sleep peacefully again, music sounds beautiful again instead of painful. And maybe right now, that future feels impossible to you. Maybe tonight your pain still feels endless. But hearts are stronger than heartbreak, my love. Even shattered hearts learn how to beat again. Not perfectly. Not immediately. But eventually. And until that day arrives, be gentle with yourself. Stop apologizing for your sadness. Stop rushing your healing. Stop pretending you're okay just to make others comfortable. A broken heart needs compassion, not shame. Cry if you need to. Write the messages you'll never send. Listen to the songs that understand your pain. Sit with your emotions instead of running from them. Because ignored pain does not disappear. It simply waits. Midnight becomes unbearable when emotions remain unspoken, so let yourself feel the grief. Feel the loneliness, feel the disappointment. But please, do not stay there forever. You deserve mornings too. You deserve love that feels peaceful instead of confusing. You deserve someone who chooses you consistently. Someone who doesn't disappear when things become emotionally difficult. And most importantly, you deserve someone who stays. Not temporarily, not only when it's convenient, not only when they feel lonely, but truly stays. Until then, protect your heart without hardening it. There's a difference. You can become wiser without becoming cold. You can create boundaries without losing kindness. You can heal without destroying your ability to love again. And trust me, one day, somebody will hear the sadness in your voice and choose to hold you closer instead of walking away. One day, someone will look at your fragile heart and treat it carefully, because the right love does not arrive to confuse you, it arrives to calm you. But tonight, I know your heart still hurts. I know there's a certain emptiness beside you, a certain silence in your room that feels unbearable. I know you still think about the version of them that once loved you gently. That's another painful truth about heartbreak. We often fall in love with memories more than reality. We remember their tenderness and forget their distance. We remember the beautiful moments and ignore the nights we cried because of them. Midnight has a way of romanticizing people who wounded us. That's why healing requires honesty. Not every person you miss deserves access to your heart. Again, missing someone is human. But returning to what destroyed you is different. Please remember that. Your loneliness should never become a reason to accept less than you deserve. A heart starved for love often settles for crumbs. Don't do that to yourself, my love. You are worthy of complete love. Consistent love. Honest love, not half-hearted affection that disappears when life becomes inconvenient. And until that kind of love arrives, learn to sit peacefully with yourself. Learn your own soul again outside the relationship. Rediscover the pieces of yourself you abandoned while trying to keep someone else happy, because sometimes heartbreak is not just losing another person, sometimes it's realizing you lost yourself while loving them. And healing begins the moment you decide to return home to yourself, slowly, gently, one midnight at a time, when memories become louder than silence. That is when heartbreak truly begins, because silence alone is harmless, my love. A quiet room cannot break you by itself, an empty bed cannot destroy your soul on its own. The real pain begins when memories enter that silence and suddenly make everything feel alive again. That's the dangerous thing about love. Even after someone leaves, they continue existing inside your mind like a voice that refuses to disappear. You hear them in songs, you see them in places they've never even been. You feel them in random moments when the world becomes still for just a second too long. And midnight makes memories louder than anything else. During the day, life distracts you. People talk, phones ring, responsibilities keep moving. The noise of the world protects you from yourself, but at night, when the darkness settles and your thoughts finally have room to breathe, memories begin speaking. And they never arrive gently, they come all at once. You suddenly remember the way they looked at you when they truly loved you. You remember late-night conversations that once felt eternal. You remember promises spoken softly between laughs and kisses, and quiet moments, and your heart starts asking painful questions again. Did they mean any of it? Do they remember me too? Was I easy to forget, my love? Memories are cruel because they replay the beautiful parts first. They show you their smile before they show you the goodbye. They remind you of warmth, before reminding you of abandonment. That's why people stay emotionally attached, long after relationships end. Not because they enjoy suffering. Because memories keep convincing the heart that love still exists somewhere inside the pain. You start missing versions of people that no longer exist, the gentle version, the caring version, the version that once held your hand and promised they would never hurt you. And maybe they meant it in that moment. Maybe they truly believed they would stay forever, but people change, my love. Sometimes feelings fade while memories remain, and the hardest part is accepting that someone can become a stranger while still living inside your heart. That realization can destroy a person slowly, especially when the memories are beautiful, especially when your love was real, because real love creates permanent echoes. Even after the relationship ends, small things continue bringing them back to life inside your mind. A certain perfume, a familiar street, a song playing unexpectedly in a cafe, a random phrase someone says that sounds exactly like them. And suddenly, your chest tightens all over again. People underestimate how exhausting heartbreak truly is. They think healing happens after a few weeks. They think distraction replaces grief. But heartbreak is not linear. Some nights you feel strong. Some mornings you finally smile again, and then suddenly, one memory appears without warning, and your entire soul collapses back into sadness. That doesn't mean you are weak. It means you love deeply, and deep love leaves deep memories, my love. There are memories you never wanted to keep, yet your heart protects them like treasure. You remember tiny details nobody else would understand. The way they looked when they were sleepy, the way their voice changed when they became emotional, the random jokes only the two of you understood. Those little things become sacred after heartbreak, because when someone leaves, ordinary moments suddenly become priceless. And that is what makes silence dangerous. Silence gives memories space to grow louder. You begin replaying old conversations in your head like unfinished movies. You analyze messages searching for hidden meanings. You revisit moments wondering where everything started falling apart. Maybe it was gradual, maybe the distance appeared slowly, maybe you ignored signs because your heart wanted love to survive. Most loving people do that. They keep hoping, they keep forgiving, they keep waiting for things to return to the way they used to be. But sometimes memories trap us inside old versions of we keep loving who they were instead of accepting who they became. And that hurts more than goodbye itself, because part of you still believes the person you miss is hiding somewhere underneath the distance. Part of you still waits for them to return emotionally. Still hopes for a message. Still imagines reconciliation during lonely nights. That's why midnight becomes emotional torture. The silence outside matches the emptiness inside you. And memories begin speaking louder than logic. Says they hurt you. Logic says they left. Logic says you deserve peace. But memories whisper softer things. They once loved you. They once cared. They once stayed up all night talking to you. They once made you feel safe. And your heart, your beautiful, fragile heart, struggles between reality and remembrance. I think that's one of the saddest human experiences, missing someone who no longer exists, in the same way, because the version you loved is gone, the connection changed, the warmth faded. Yet your memories continue preserving them perfectly, almost like emotional photos trapped inside your soul, my love. Some people never realize how much space they occupy inside another person's heart. They move on casually while someone else is still fighting memories every night. And no, that doesn't make you pathetic. It makes you human. People who love sincerely don't forget easily, especially not when they attach dreams to someone. That's another painful part of heartbreak nobody discusses enough. You don't only lose the person, you lose the future you imagined with them, the imagined mornings, the imagined home, the imagined forever. and every memory becomes connected to that lost future somehow. That's why heartbreak feels bigger than sadness. It feels like mourning an entire life that never happened. And still, your memories continue replaying the happiest moments like your soul refuses to let go completely. Maybe because love is the closest thing humans have to magic. It changes ordinary moments into unforgettable ones. A simple conversation becomes a core memory. A random drive becomes sacred. A quiet hug becomes something your heart searches for years later. And after heartbreak, those moments become emotionally dangerous. You revisit them when you feel lonely. You replay them when the nights become unbearable. You use memories to keep yourself emotionally connected to someone who already left physically. But eventually, my love, something important begins to happen. The memories stay, but their power changes. At first, every memory destroys you. Every reminder feels like reopening a wound. But slowly, healing softens the sharp edges. You still remember them, you still feel sadness sometimes, but the memories stop controlling your entire emotional world, and one day, something unexpected happens. You think about them and survive the memory peacefully. No panic, no tears, no emotional collapse, just remembrance. That's when you realize healing has quietly entered your heart, not because you stopped loving completely, because your soul finally stopped bleeding. And trust me, my love, that day will come, even if tonight feels endless, even if the memories still feel louder than silence, even if your chest still aches whenever their name crosses your mind. Time does not erase love, but it teaches your heart how to carry it differently. And maybe that's what healing truly is. Not forgetting, not pretending someone never mattered, but learning how to remember without breaking apart. Because some people will always remain part of your story. Not because they stayed forever. Because they changed something inside you permanently, and that's okay. Every heartbreak teaches the soul something valuable. It teaches you what kind of love destroys you, what kind of silence hurts you, what kind of affection feels genuine, and what only feels temporary. Pain becomes wisdom eventually. But while you are still healing, please be gentle with yourself during lonely nights. Don't shame yourself for remembering. Don't hate yourself for missing them sometimes. A loving heart naturally holds on to beautiful moments. That's what hearts do. But please remember this too. Memories are not invitations to return to pain. Just because you miss someone does not mean they were right for you. Sometimes your heart misses familiarity more than the actual person. Sometimes you miss being loved, being wanted, being emotionally seen, and your memories confuse that longing with destiny. But real love should not leave permanent confusion inside your spirit. Real love should not make you question your worth every midnight. The right person may challenge your heart sometimes. They will never make you feel emotionally abandoned while standing beside them. Never forget that. You deserve a love that brings peace to your nights instead of pain, a love that feels safe instead of uncertain, a love that stays consistent instead of disappearing emotionally. And one day, someone will create memories with you that no longer hurt when remembered. Someone will love you in a way that softens your old wounds instead of reopening them. Until then, protect your heart carefully, and when midnight comes again, when silence grows heavy, when memories begin whispering their sad little stories inside your chest, remind yourself gently, say, just 'cause memories are loud doesn't mean you have to live inside them forever.